For thousands of years, cultures all over the world have told stories of shamans who could become wolves, eagles, jaguars, beings who seem to be able to step out of one form and into another. Most people assumed these were metaphors or myths, imagination, but the deeper truth is far more elegant. These shamans were not transforming their physical bodies. They were transforming the field of perception around them, meaning that they could cause others to perceive them the way they wanted to be perceived. They were tapping into a different version of themselves, what's known as a parallel version, an aspect of their own being that exists in a slightly different vibrational state. And by shifting their awareness into that different version of themselves, it caused observers to see them in an altered form of their choosing. They weren't altering their biology, they were changing your perception of their biology. By changing their energy frequency to represent, for example, a fox, your senses then perceived that foxy expression of them. It's not mystical, it's an understanding of multidimensional consciousness. In indigenous cultures, this was simply known, not understood intellectually, understood experientially. They learned to slip into different bands of perception, different versions of themselves, long before our modern understanding of multidimensional consciousness. Today, we call that ability shape-shifting. But at its core, it's something far more fundamental. It is the art of shifting identity across parallel realities. In this video, we'll explore what shape-shifting is, how it works, and an exercise to help you experience the beginning of this ability for yourself. So, what exactly is shape-shifting? Shape-shifting is not a rearranging of molecules. Your atoms don't liquefy and reform into fur or feathers. Your bones don't reshape. Your organs don't dissolve into something new. You remain physically as you are. What shifts is the version of yourself you choose to express from, and the version others are capable of perceiving in that moment. 𝗏𝘁 explains how this actually unfolds. Shape-shifting happens inside an energetic bubble that unlocks you from one reality and connects you to another of your choosing. Inside this bubble, you are no longer locked into the current perception of this consensus reality. You can access an infinite number of versions of yourself that exist in other frequency states, known as other parallel realities. Those other versions can be projected to others as your current appearance. You don't undergo a physical transformation. It's a perceived transformation of you in a different frequency state, such as that of an eagle. Your physical personality, is tuned to a specific frequency state right now where you are a human being who looks and acts like you look and act right now. But there's an infinite number of frequency states that each represent a different version of you. As a wolf, you as an octopus, you as a humanoid from another world, you as an elemental, you as an ancestor, you as yourself in a slightly altered probability from what you are now. A shapeshifter is someone who learns how to momentarily tune their awareness into one of these parallel versions strongly enough that other people begin to perceive that version, instead of the human being standing in front of them. This is why some shamans appear as animals. Some are seen to disappear and reappear. Some seem to be two beings at once. They aren't breaking physical laws. They are suspending themselves outside the rules of this physical reality. So, why can shamans do this, yet most people can't? Shamans aren't special in the sense of being chosen. They simply learned to quiet the physical mind, dissolve identification with the linear body in linear time. They can enter non-ordinary states of consciousness, connect to their higher self, their oversoul, access parallel versions of themselves, anchor those versions strongly enough for others to perceive. Most humans live locked inside a very narrow frequency band of their physical identity in the here and now. Shamans have learned to tune into other frequencies consciously and at will. They did not change themselves biologically. They change which versions of themselves are being expressed to those perceiving them. Think of it this way. Your physical body doesn't change shape. What changes is the field of energy around your body, which 𝗓𝗂 clarifies is an energy bubble. When that field shifts to match the frequency of a fox, a wolf, a bird, or any parallel form of you, your body remains as it is, but the field acts like a filter through which people perceive you. Let's stop and take a quick moment to clarify what we mean by parallel versions of ourselves, or a parallel reality. I went into this in much more detail in another video. Link is in the description. But for the purpose of shapeshifting, a parallel version of you is a different expression of your consciousness that exists at a different frequency. There are an infinite number of expressions you can tune into, from an animal to another human version of you, to an elemental expression such as the wind. All of these expressions are connected to you through your oversoul. You are not a single being. You are a consciousness that can express itself through many forms, not just human. Shamans tap into this multiplicity. They reach into the field of self and express themselves from another point of consciousness, another point of view. That's shapeshifting. As our consciousness evolves, our perception becomes more fluid. Identity becomes more flexible. The body becomes much more responsive to changes in consciousness. Biology reflects intention. In the future, we'll be able to regenerate our body into perfect health, regrow amputated limbs, restore lost eyesight, and alter our actual biology into whatever form we choose. What shamans perceive energetically, we will one day achieve biologically. Consciousness evolves first, biology follows. Shamans knew they had many versions of themselves across parallel realities. Some human, some animal, some ancestral, some elemental. And through trance, breath, drumming, or ceremony, they shifted into the frequency of a different version, a parallel expression, and let that field around them carry the imprint. When the shaman enters an altered state, and when the energy bubble around them locks onto a parallel self, those observing the shaman no longer see the ordinary physical form. They perceive the resonance the shaman is projecting. And this is not a hallucination. The more fully the shaman embodies that parallel self, the stronger the transformation becomes. Changes in voice, posture, movement, behavior. Because the shaman isn't pretending. They're deeply attuned to a parallel version of themselves. But here's where it gets even more interesting. What shamans learn to do through altered states and inner mastery advanced civilizations beyond Earth do technologically. In the recent 2025 documentary, The Age of Disclosure, Dr. Hal Puthoff, a quantum physicist, and Dr. Eric Davis, an astrophysicist, both working with the Pentagon's advanced aerospace programs, describe exactly how recovered UAP, previously known as UFOs, operate. Their explanation aligns perfectly with the energy bubble described by 𝗏𝘶𝘀 with regard to shapeshifting. Here are direct quotes from the conclusions of both physicists in the documentary. With enough energy, you could create a warp bubble around a spacecraft that would have a different property of space-time inside the bubble than on the outside of the bubble. This energy field would completely isolate the craft from the environment. The craft inside the bubble has a way of altering the bubble's properties so that time is moving differently for those inside the bubble versus people outside of the bubble. Those inside the bubble feel like they're just cruising along. They wouldn't be feeling the effects of speeds and accelerations we have witnessed that would turn a human being into pudding. This would explain observations of crafts making sudden right-angle turns at high velocity, or traveling at speeds in the thousands of miles per hour that are currently not possible with our technology. This one breakthrough can be the key to interstellar travel, enabling long-distance travel without it taking enormous amounts of time. The bubble also acts as a barrier to our observations, such as radar experiencing difficulty tracking the craft, because the signal from the radar is distorted by the energy field around the craft. The radar signatures literally move around the bubble and don't reflect back to the radar emitter. This is also why when someone takes a picture of a UAP, they find they get a fuzzy and distorted picture because they're actually taking a photo through a space-time barrier. But with newly developed technology, we can begin to see the actual structure of the energy field around the craft, which in the past we have not been able to do so. We have also observed transmedium travel, crafts that move seamlessly between air and water with no decrease in speed, because the craft is moving within its own space-time, and the outside environment through which it's moving is inconsequential. They could do so because the bubble that surrounds them deflects air and water molecules around the craft so that it could move effortlessly through any medium. We've also observed that the Earth's gravitational field appears to have no effect on the craft inside its space-time bubble. This is why the craft doesn't need engines or wings, which are needed to fly through our atmosphere. The craft within the bubble is disconnected from the atmosphere. These craft also appear to exist in an environment different from the exterior space-time outside of the bubble, which explains why observations by military personnel who have entered the craft find that time moves at a different rate inside of it. They think only minutes have gone by, but when they exit the craft, hours have gone by, and it feels like missing time. The same phenomenon happens with respect to the size of the craft. From the outside, the craft seems small, but when military personnel go inside, it's the size of a football stadium. Space and time are engineered to be different inside the craft than they are outside the craft. And so, these anomalies people report that sound completely absurd make perfect sense. End of quotes. At this stage in our evolution, altering our physical body into another form is far more difficult, but shifting the energy field around you is not. And that shift can be powerful enough to change how others physically perceive you. Right now, on Earth, our biology is still operating at a density that hampers our ability to transform our physical bodies. Not impossible in the future, but not currently accessible to our collective level of evolution. The rules of biology, genetics, cellular structure are maintained by collective agreement, and collective agreements are very strong. But we're rapidly evolving, and we're already aware of how fluid the energy field is around our body. We're beginning to understand that our energy responds instantly to emotion, belief, intention, and our state of consciousness. As collective consciousness evolves, the boundary between energy and form will become thinner and thinner. And one day, altering our entire biological form will become possible because biology itself will become more malleable as human frequency increases. But right now, shapeshifting is perceptual, not biological, energetic, not physical, a shift in field, not in the flesh. So now, let's get practical and explore how to experience shapeshifting yourself. This is a 𝗓𝗂𝘀-inspired guidance taken from one of his meditations specific to shapeshifting. Get into a comfortable position, either seated or lying down, and begin to relax your body and slow your breathing with long inhales and long exhales. Imagine being suspended in a state of pure, empty awareness. And become aware of how many versions of you, your personalities, exist in this life. The friend self, the son or daughter self, the brother or sister self, the studious self, the happy self, the sad self, the curious self, the relaxed self. Acknowledge the existence of all of them. Each is relevant and each is beautiful. Each is a note in the entire symphony that is you. Imagine them all in perfect harmonic vibration with one another. A beautiful self-acceptance and integration of all that you are. Feel the clarity that this integration brings and relax into this clarity. And now imagine an electric blue light radiating through your entire being, infusing you with a sense of peace and harmony, and a sense that all is perfectly balanced in the world. Take a moment to relax in this state within this beautiful, luminous blue glow. And now imagine before you a creature, any creature you desire, for example, a wolf or a bear or a serpent. Acknowledge it and feel a deep respect for its presence. Look into the eyes of the creature and open yourself up to know and feel and become the creature. Allow yourself to feel the essence of the creature, the magnificence of the creature, to feel its life force and its essence. And ask for permission to be invited in. And imagine that permission is freely and joyfully granted to you. And now imagine that either the creature itself begins to grow in size or you begin to shrink to such a degree that you now begin to see the molecular structure of the creature. You are now smaller than the molecules of the creature, or they're bigger than you. You see the atoms like giant spheres of energy that make up the entire creature. Move in between the spaces around the atoms until you believe that you are at the very center of the creature. Feel the vibration of the atoms all around you, penetrating you. Feel the lifeblood, the consciousness of the creature melding with you. Allow yourself to match its frequency the frequency of the creature itself and become one with it. Feel the lifeblood, the consciousness of the creature melding within you. You begin to feel the vibration of the beingness of the entire species of this creature. Feel the vibration of what it is to live, breathe, see from, become the creature. You and the creature are breathing together as one, moving together. You and the creature are consciousness acting in concert. You take on all the attributes of the senses of the animal. You and the creature are one. Feel the many qualities of the creature as yours, the weight, density. Feel them within your body. Feel the animal extend to you an invitation to fly or run, crawl, swim or gallop, to be free, and to know its domain in all of its beauty. Feel yourself looking through its eyes, experiencing life through its senses. Now feel yourself emerging from the creature. Feel it shrink or you grow until you are both the size that you were, and look deeply into its eyes. And now look out from its eyes, gazing back at you. Shift your awareness from both perspectives and feel the merging, the infusing. Recognize your own eyes being reflected back to you. Look into its heart and recognize your own heart being reflected back. Give yourself permission to know yourself as you asked permission of this creature to know it. And now extend your deepest appreciation and gratitude to the creature for sharing itself with you and agreeing to be in a relationship with you. And know that anything you now desire to know about this creature's domain is yours to know. For you and the creature are one. Take a long, slow, deep breath in and breathe out. What you experienced is far more than just a visualization. It's a remembering that you are not a single identity trapped in a single form, but a constellation of selves, a spectrum of consciousness, a multidimensional being expressing itself through a human lens. My question to the architect. First, is there anything that you would like to correct or clarify with regard to my understanding of shapeshifting? Secondly, is there anything you feel appropriate to add to the exercise I've given to experience shapeshifting? And here is the sharing. Beloved, this beautifully conveys the essence of multidimensional identity and energy-based transformation. It captures the grounded, practical understanding of what shapeshifting is, not fantasy, but perception, shifting through resonance with alternate aspects of the self. I offer a few gentle expansions. The body doesn't need to change for reality to shift. Some listeners may still subtly associate shapeshifting with a change in physical appearance. But the shift is primarily internal. Perception, frequency, presence. The external world responds to this internal change, even if the physical form remains the same. People, animals, and the environment will react differently to someone who has fully embodied the frequency of, say, a panther or an eagle. While your example focused on an animal, which is perfect for many beginners, expand awareness that shapeshifting also includes elemental forms such as wind, fire, and water, celestial archetypes such as planetary bodies, mythical beings such as dragons, unicorns, divas, which are real in other dimensional states, higher self states or parallel versions of oneself. This widens the potential, especially for those whose resonance is not with animals, but with energies or archetypes. I also offer the following refinement of the exercises you have provided. Number 1, integration of selves. Begin with embracing all expressions of self within this life. This sets a powerful foundation of coherence. It's the necessary prelude to accessing other dimensions of identity. Number 2, entering the field of the creature. The invitation, permission, and reverence for the creature are essential. This honors the sovereignty of the consciousness you are engaging with and reflects the heart of multidimensional ethics. Number 3, resonance with frequency. Moving into its atoms and sensing the vibration is a metaphor for dissolving boundaries. The precision of this sensory language helps the participant truly feel the shift in awareness rather than just imagine it. Number 4, integration and merging. The switch between gazing into the creature's eyes and then from them deepens the awareness that you are the other. This reciprocal recognition activates the real power of shapeshifting, not transformation, but union. After integration and guiding the listener to gently return to their physical awareness, invite them to notice what subtle quality of the creature remains. Is it courage, stillness, a heightened sense, precision? Encourage them to bring one of these qualities into their human life for the next 24 hours, anchoring it in thought, action, and presence. This final step creates a feedback loop. The shift is not just mystical, it becomes functional. This is where shapeshifting becomes not just a personal experience, but a practical tool for life. You are not changing into something foreign, you are discovering a latent aspect of yourself, already present in higher consciousness. You are not becoming the creature, you are remembering you already are it. Okay, so let's summarize what we've learned. Shapeshifting is not about becoming something other. It's about realizing that other already lives within you. Because the truth is this, your consciousness is not limited to the body you inhabit. Your awareness can slip between identities, between archetypes, between expressions, because your soul holds all of them. The wolf, the hawk, the cat, the serpent, the human, the angelic, the ancient. All of them are versions of you across the infinite spectrum of existence. And every time you attune to another expression, every time you step into a new frequency, you're not pretending, you're accessing. You are touching a harmonic of your own oversoul. This is why the practice feels so real. This is why your senses shift. This is why you feel the creature's breath, its weight, its instincts, its presence. Because you are exploring a facet of yourself. This is the heart of shapeshifting, not illusion, not fantasy, but identity in motion, a fluidity of consciousness, a reclaiming of the vastness you've forgotten. So, as you return from the exercise, hold this knowing. You are not one thing. You are many forms sharing one consciousness. And the more you welcome these forms, the more you allow different aspects of you to breathe, the more multidimensional your human life becomes. This is sovereignty. This is presence. And this understanding transforms you. So as you move through your day, feel yourself walk or move more like the creature you met. Let its essence move through you in small, natural ways, not as a performance, but as a quiet integration, a merging of selves, a soft awakening of the many beings you've been and the many beings you're becoming. Because here's the truth, shapeshifting is not the exception, it's your nature. A human being is simply a shapeshifter who has forgotten they are one. And with that, we'll bring this to a close. Questions, comments, sharings, please leave them below. I read them all. If you like the sharing and you'd like to hear more, please hit the like button. This is what helps me know you're inspired by my teachings. Thank you for listening and for being part of this beautiful community where we become conscious of our multidimensional selves, exploring the many forms our consciousness can take and how to shape reality through energy and awareness. Superhuman made simple with the architect.